Hey, how you doing? I'm the Nose, and this is Bigg Mike Knows Best. We got a nice show lined up for you. We're going to be talking about Game 3 of the NBA Finals and which prop bets you should be betting on, as well as UFC 264 between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. We also have a nice prop bet for you guys to join in on us with the fights. Not necessarily a prop bet, but just another prelim fight that we really like. Now, we're just waiting for Mike to get in on here, and we'll get cracking with that. Where are you, Mike? Let's go. There's a little bit of technical difficulties, folks. Got Mike trying to get in here. Where are you, guy? Ridiculous. As you can see, I mean, Game 3, it doesn't take a genius to, to figure out that Game 3 belongs to the Bucks. I mean, you got to think that Middleton and Holiday are going to play better, as well as, even Giannis getting another game under his belt. Where is this guy? Hold on. Well, here we go. Let's go, Mike. Get your ass in here. Here we go. There we go.
Yeah, that's right.
Rather long intro by me, but what I was saying was we're going to cover UFC 264, and we're also going to cover the NBA Finals Game 3 and which prop bets you could be betting on. And, I mean, I know you feel very strongly about Game 3. Mike, you've been telling me about Game 3 since before Game 1 even fucking started. So why don't you take us away with Game 3 and what you feel like is going to hit? Because, I mean, I know what you're going to say between Holiday and Middleton. I mean, it's only up from here, but let's see. What do you think?
Listen, I'm not one to really bet on actual games anymore, but if there was ever a lock, the lock of locks right now, it's Bucks in Game 3. And I'm going to tell you why for a couple of reasons. It's not.
Why?
I can't get. How do I get these comments out of my face here? I can't see you. Can't see myself.
I have no idea, but I guess you're going to have to deal with it.
God, man, the fucking shit I have to put up with here. All right, anyway, no. Here's the reason.
You see I'm all boxed out.
Very nice, very nice. The guy's got money on the Suns, and he's wearing a Bucks jersey. Such a jackass. Really are a jackass.
This is true. Suns in 4, baby. Suns in 4.
So, what I think is this. Look, the Suns basically all they did was hold serve with the first 2 games. Now, Game 1, obviously they kicked their ass. Game 2, though, I mean, the Bucks really should have won the game. If you really look at the game and watch what happened.
No, I know. It seemed like they were dominating, and then they were losing by 11 at half somehow. It was
well, they really were. I mean, it's just they're playing a team that's a little better than the Nets now. There's no scrubs like Kyrie Irving out there. So they were able to, they just handled their business. But really, the main thing is Drew Holiday and Middleton. Now, if you look at their splits, home and away, for instance, Middleton shoots 48% at home, and he's like 39 on the road. And Holiday's been shooting 30% on the road, 42 at home. So those are big differences in stats. And they look, they're not winning. The Bucks only win when
Middleton goes off. Yeah, I totally
when
agree.
Middleton does not play good, they suck.
I know. Middleton, as good as Giannis is, and Giannis can have the best game of his life, if Middleton doesn't score in the mid-20s to 30, they're not winning. And especially Holiday. Holiday's got to score more than what he's been doing. Even though I think he had 18 last game or 17 last game, he still needs to be more in the flow of the game. I mean, he's too good of a player and too good of a distributor and scorer of the basketball not to be more into it. And I feel like they're not going to win Game 3 unless they play better.
Oh, listen, I just want to shout out Florida to all my fans in the Panhandle down there. You know, I'm pretty hot in Tampa these days. You know, just so you know. I mean, I'm hot in Tampa and Germany. I can't even walk down the streets of Hamburg anymore. So
First off, don't make me crack out my Emmitt Smith Gator jersey. Don't make me do that. Don't make me do it.
So listen. So look, Holiday though needs to shoot better. Okay, he just can't be playing and shooting 30% and expect them to win.
No,
You
no.
know, he's much better than that.
Yeah, and he's much more important to the team than that. I think a big guy in game 3, which I mean, I think that he's taking more of the role in this series is, I think Brook Lopez. I think Brook Lopez is a good bet. He's like plus 200 to score 15 points. He averages 13 a game. Now,
true, but here's the only thing I would say.
I think he's better than Portis in this series.
Look, Giannis is going to be playing more minutes. They need, first of all, Giannis is the only player on the Bucks that has a plus minus in the pluses. Everyone else they're outscored when they're on the court. So Giannis is going to 4 in the series, right? So he's only playing about 35 minutes. He's going to play like 40 minutes. 40.
Yeah, he has to start doing that. I mean,
they have to leave him. They absolutely have to leave him on the court. So by doing that, he's going to be taking more shots, and I just don't know if Lopez is going to get the volume necessary.
Look, last game, the Bucks were right in it. They got it down to 5 points, and then they took Giannis out in the fourth quarter, and that was that. The game was over. Then the Suns went on a little run, and the game was over. So I do agree with you. If the Bucks want to win, I think Giannis has to play more minutes in the fourth. I mean, he can't be coming out.
Yeah, he has to play more minutes, and Middleton and, you know, look, here's the bottom line. Middleton and Holiday are their second and third best players, and they got outplayed by Crowder and Bridges. That's like the 4 and 5 of the Suns. So if your second, you know, guys are going to get outplayed by their fourth and fifth options,
not winning. Yeah, no, you have no chance. I totally agree. And there's no one else. You know, there's no one else there that's going to pick up the slack. It's on them.
Look, they had their chances. They obviously had their chances to win in those games. So the fact that, you know, that they blew the leads and stuff, like they were up 20 right at the beginning, and it's reflected in the spread. You know, right now it's -4. So
-4 for who?
For the Bucks.
Really?
Yeah. So
look, if I was betting, man, I'd be betting the Bucks to win.
Listen, the line shows where the game's going. They know the Bucks are going to win that game. I feel like it's almost a foregone conclusion. They'll figure out a way to win, and then you're going to talk about having basically game 4 for the series, and that one I have no idea.
I mean, game 4 for the series, more for the Bucks. I mean, I think that's more.
Well, the Bucks, if they lose game 4, they're losing in 5, and that's going to be that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody thinks they're going to lose. That they're going to lose one of these 2 at home in NBA.
Yo, back to my Brook Lopez point. Now, I know you're not keen on betting Brook Lopez. I mean, either am I. I know it's a big stretch, but him to score 15 points at like plus 720. I mean, it is plus 240. I think him to score 20 is like 720. Now,
points a lot for him, though.
It's a ton. I think 15 is the max I'd ever go with him, but I do like the fact that he seems to be getting the minutes over Portis. I think Portis is kind of at a place in this series, and I think Brook Lopez impacts the game better than him. And not only that, he also brings Ayton away from the basket a little bit with his 3-point shooting, and he can rebound on the offensive glass. So I do think he serves a big purpose.
He's a guy,
especially at home.
The guy I like. Listen, I like Connaughton. Okay, Pat Connaughton.
Yeah, I love Connaughton. Yes.
Connaughton, you know, he's been playing so hard, and he's made threes. Last game he made 3. You know, I expect their role players to make more shots at home. He's a guy I look at for about 10 points. You're going to get him at like plus 150 to plus 200 for 10 points. That's pretty good.
I know. You know, last game his regular number was like 5.5 or 6.5. I forget which one it was. I think it was 5.5. Now, 5.5. If you're taking him even for 8.5 points, just under 10, that's 3 threes, which he's very capable of getting hot and doing. That is a solid bet because you're going to get that at plus money, and he's getting like 28 to 30 minutes a game. Yeah,
Right.
and I mean, I personally, we've been watching the games and talking between the games, and all we've been saying is that Connington should be getting more minutes. I mean, the
Should
guy's
be.
playing his
He's the
ass
guy
off.
that's hustling.
Yeah, he's playing his ass off.
He's basically everything that PJ Tucker should be. With
Yeah, I
touch.
know. Yo, listen. I know people. Listen, everyone's gonna call us crazy with this one, but PJ Tucker 3 made threes. I'm telling you, he does it once a series. He hasn't done it yet.
Except the last series when we bet him every game, and he hasn't done it this one either.
I know.
I know he's due.
But
He's
at plus 13,
right
now at 3 made threes is plus 1,300.
I know.
He is very capable of knocking down 3-corner threes throughout the course of a game. And at plus 1,300, that is worth $150.
He's
okay?
Listen. You're right. Listen, he's more than capable of making 3 threes. He's also capable of taking no shots and making me want to destroy him. So you got to take that into effect.
Making you want to commit suicide because you bet PJ Tucker. No, I understand.
Well, because I've been betting money on him, but he's not winning.
Listen, you got Angelo talking about Mikal Bridges. Yes, I do believe in Cal Bridges. As a matter of fact, he's played very well throughout the regular season against the Bucks. The only thing is, in this game 3, Big Mike and I feel that the Bucks are more inclined to win. And if we think the Bucks are going to win, who's going to play better? I mean, the only logical explanation, if the Bucks are going to win, who's going to play better is Middleton, Holiday, and we also happen to like Connington. And if you want to just throw money out on a chance to win big, we like PJ Tucker 3-made threes. Now, look, if you're a big Suns guy, Mikal Bridges all the way. Mikal Bridges, Booker, Chris Paul.
Listen, guy on the
Cam
road,
Johnson.
I like Bridges much better at home. I think on the road, I would trust a guy like Crowder a little bit more. He's been on games before.
Oh, you just said Crowder. I love his rebounds. Yeah. Crowder's been rebounding the fuck out of the ball. And you can get him at plus money at like plus 5.5 rebounds. If you take him for like 7.5, 8.5 rebounds, you're in the plus 2 to 300s.
I agree. Listen, Crowder is tough. He's like a tough veteran. He's not going to be intimidated by the moment. He's been playing really good on the road. I'm not saying Bridges is intimidated because he's obviously not. But
he's a championship player.
Yeah, but the thing is like, who do you trust more? A guy that's been there or Bridges? And you got to. I mean, look. I know Budenholzer is like the worst coach in the league. He's terrible.
Terrible.
He's got like the motivational tactics of like a tree stump. Okay,
he's horrible.
He looks lifeless at times.
He looks like a giant grown man baby. That's what he looks like. Next time you look at Budenholzer, look at him. He looks like the fucking Coach Klein in the Waterboy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Coach Klein. All right.
Coach Klein when he turns into a baby head.
Well, one of my main things is like you would think you would adjust. You wouldn't be switching on the pick and rolls. Holiday's got to fight over screens and stay on Chris Paul. The one thing I would be doing, and I wish I was the coach, I would give Chris Paul a Kevin Walker like elbow right to the schnoz.
I give the people's elbow.
Like we're making a joke here, but this guy is just doing whatever he wants. And he's talking shit, walking around like, fuck you, bro.
Totally agree.
Like when we play ball, if somebody's doing that to us, we are not allowing that shit.
No, not at all. Something's going to have to change.
I'm not even saying to be dirty,
No, it doesn't have to be dirty, but, make him feel you. They're not making him feel him. He's doing whatever he wants. And he's like 36 years old. All they have to do is really get in his kitchen a little bit with Holiday.
Listen, Tom Walker doesn't teach you to be dirty.
No.
Okay, but he teaches you to foul in the right ways. And the way you do it is when he drives, you come over the top of his shoulder and you hit him hard and you put him on his ass.
Yes.
And all jokes aside, the fact that they're not doing that, they're just allowing him free reign. I would do the same thing to Booker too, man. You got to get physical with these guys. Listen, they're young. The Suns are one of the youngest teams in the league. You got to like man up on them.
Totally agree.
And look, these are professional athletes. Okay, they're not going to be intimidated by stuff like that. But I know, like when I play, man, if somebody like I'm not backing down to shit. Okay,
no.
Like when we played basketball before, that's what we do. Especially when a team's getting the better of you like that. So Middleton and Holiday gotta like exert their physicalness on the series.
I agree, especially Holiday. Holiday is beefier than their guards. I mean, he's got to get into Chris Paul. He's a lot stronger, and he's a lot younger, quite frankly. And, I mean, he can do whatever he wants to Paul. I think Holiday needs to bring up the ball and make sure Paul is on him, whether it's through a switch or whatever. But, like, they got to get Paul to cover Holiday because he's going to dominate.
He has to cover. He's got to give him, like, a little knee to the thigh. He's got to make life uncomfortable for him because right now, what they're doing is –
they were doing it early.
Listen, they're switching on the pick and roll, and Paul just gets in the lane. He shoots that little 6-foot jump shot.
He's picking his defender that he wants to school next.
Yeah, exactly. Or he passes it out for open threes, and those are like, they're moving the ball like the Spurs move the ball, and they're getting wide open shots.
I know.
The Bucks, listen, what people aren't realizing, they're just looking at the series like, all right, it's 2-0 to get in their ass kicked. The Bucks have wide open shots. You got to make them. You got to make them.
Listen. Connington had a chance in the fourth quarter to put them down 3. He had a wide open 3 from the wing. He makes that. The game gets a lot tighter. I mean,
instead of it being a 3-point game and the Suns calling timeout, they come down, hit a 3, they're back up 9, they get a steal, and they're up 11, and the game's over.
Yeah.
Now listen, Holiday's taking plenty of shots. I think last game he was like 6 for 21. You just got to make them, but he's not taking the right shots. He's taking like some of these shots he's taking. And Middleton too. They're like contested jumpers instead of work the ball.
Look, I didn't see Middleton get an easy shot the entire game. I mean, I don't know what kind of defense they're playing on the guy, but he didn't get an easy shot once. It just didn't look like he was into it.
In the first quarter, Middleton had about 3 shots that went in and out.
Yeah.
Now look, everybody that watches basketball, you're going to make some, you're going to miss some. But for them to win, Middleton has to score between 25 and 30 points, or they have no chance.
I know.
Giannis is going to give you – Giannis can fall out of bed and give you 30 and 12. That's what you're getting out of him no matter what.
Yeah.
Middleton cannot give you 15 points, and Holiday shoots 6 for 20.
Yeah, listen, you're absolutely right about that. If anything, they need Holiday and Middleton each getting like 22 to 30 points each, as well as getting a contribution from somebody that shouldn't be, someone like Brook Lopez or PJ Tucker and or Connington. No, I really like what you said earlier about Connington. He's getting a good 28 to 30 minutes a game. And he's playing his ass off. And he seems to hit a couple threes. He gets a lot of putbacks. He needs
to be brought in earlier.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean,
he needs to play a little bit more than PJ Tucker, in my opinion.
He does. Well, look, Tucker does a lot of nice things, too, with the rebounding and stuff.
He does.
Connaughton's hustle and the way he plays. Listen, Connaughton's like grimy, okay? He gets into the guys, makes life uncomfortable for him. And right now the Suns are just doing whatever they want. They're shooting uncontested threes. They're running back down the court like it's a parade, like laughing, high-fiving.
I know.
That's not what basketball is about. And anybody that plays basketball or watches it knows you got to get physical. And I'm not talking dirty, but you got to get into them. And if
they say football is a very physical sport. They say basketball's a contact sport, and it really is. They gotta start making it more of a contact sport.
Well, if the Bucks can get into their chest a little bit, they can make it tough for them because the
Bucks are bigger all around.
They have more men on their team. They do.
Yeah. Yes. They need to get a little bit more physical and get into them a little bit. I think Drew Holiday needs to assert himself in the paint more, and I think Middleton needs to make some fucking shots. I mean, listen, a betting man as myself, I'll be betting Middleton in game 3. The bottom line is without them scoring, they're not going to win. Game 3, I expect them to come out. Listen, it's do or die situation. I don't, the Suns have lost games, in every series like this. They did what they were supposed to do in the first 2 games. I thought last game was a game the Bucks should have won had they made any kind of shots, but they didn't. I know. They didn't.
So
look, right now, if you're just looking at the games and you're not taking into effect home or away and what's going to happen, when the Bucks go home, if you're just looking at the series, what you see right now is the Suns are an overall better team. They just have way more shooters on the outside. They're not a better team. They're more consistent. The Bucks have the best players. The Bucks listen. If the Bucks play their A game, they will beat them. But the problem is with the Bucks, they don't play it consistently. Look at the Nets. They got beat by 40 in the second game. I know.
But then they do listen. They do show some resiliency. They came back. They won
Well,
4 out of 5.
we always say, you and I, Giannis has the heart of a lion. You know, where I'm not worried about their resiliency. I know they're going to bring it game 3. And like you said, we're not into betting games. You know, we like player props, mostly. But if you were going to bet a game, I mean, I don't see how you don't like the Bucks to win, at least just to win.
Look, they're gonna win the game.
Yeah.
The series, it hasn't been as lopsided as it looks on paper with the final scores, even though the Suns have won by double digits both games, especially game 2.
Especially game 2.
The Bucks really took it to them, especially early, and then they just, they fizzled out.
Look, we even said at halftime, the Bucks were down 11, and we said, yo, they dominated this game in a lot of ways. I don't get how they're down 11. They just...
No, I know.
I don't get it. Look, they're just not... The Suns have a lot more guys that can drain shots. They just do. Between Cam Johnson, Bridges, and Crowder, and Booker, and Paul, and then you got Ayton to worry about underneath. I mean, they're a lot to handle. And even Cameron Payne, he didn't do much last game, but you gotta respect him.
The problem with Cameron Payne is he's not getting the minutes with Chris Paul. Chris Paul's playing almost 40 minutes.
Listen, this is Chris Paul's swan dance. Well, so Cameron Payne can't say shit.
Look, he's got to listen. You're never going to get an opening like this to win. Look, the 2 best teams in the league are the Lakers and the Nets, okay? And the Clippers are better than them too. But look, there was injuries and they took advantage. That's part of it. So he better win now.
Listen, like you've said this a lot too. This finals is someone's getting gifted a finals because of all the injuries. These really aren't the 2 best teams, but they've lasted the longest, and they're playing the best right now.
And it's unfortunate, too, because let me tell you, if Trae Young didn't get hurt, I'm not so sure the Bucks don't lose to them.
I know. Poor Trae Young, he rolled his ankle on the ref's foot. That really
luck. I mean, you can't get worse luck than that.
No.
Although I think the Bucks have a better chance of beating the Suns than the Hawks would have.
100%.
The Bucks have size, and they have toughness, and they got to make some shots. That's, we were like beating a dead horse here, but that is really what it comes down to.
No, I know. It comes down to Holiday and Middleton. Like we said, they have to play better. If they play up to their card or even slightly above it, they're probably going to win.
They're going to win. And game 3, the bets I like, I would take Middleton. I think his regular number is 24.5. I like him for 30. I expect him to come out firing. Holiday, I also like in like the mid-20s.
27.5 even for Middleton. Holiday, I like for 23.5.
One of the things about Holiday, he hasn't been shooting good all playoffs, really. Middleton has had games where he's been white hot. So I would expect that more than anything. I would expect Middleton to come out.
I also, listen, I know you named those 2 are the obvious ones. 2 guys, I know you liked Connaughton. I do like Connaughton, whatever his number is. I do think that he's a guy that's getting the minutes, and he's getting a lot of hustle points. That he's just everywhere. He gets points without even having to draw up a play for him. So I like Connaughton. Another guy that I really like at home, who I think is getting the minutes over Portis, and he's just more in the flow. I like Brook Lopez a lot. I do. I know it's hard to back him because he's like, such a fringe guy. But Brook Lopez has the ability to score 15 points. He just does.
No, he does. I would like him better if he played a little more inside.
Yo, listen, even 12.5, 13.5. Yo, on the offensive glass, he's crashing the boards, though. Because Giannis is everywhere else. He's the guy on the offensive glass. And he's getting a lot of points that way. If you look, he had 6 points on the offensive glass last game.
Yeah, no.
There's something to think about. Now he's going at home. He's also a guy that's been in the playoffs before. He everyone forgets he was a big time center with the Nets. At one point when centers were like a thing.
Brook Lopez is a good basketball player, and he had that game where he scored in the 30s. He's more than capable. There's no doubt about it. If
I know.
He goes a certain way, he could easily be the guy.
The reason why I like him too is he just matches up better than Portis does in this series, and I think the Bucks are starting to see it a little bit more and more. But listen, we've talked about this game a lot. We like, we like Middleton, Holiday, Connaughton, and even Lopez.
Yeah, well, listen. The bottom line is of all this stuff. Game 3, I expect the Bucks to win, and Game 4 is going to be a dogfight. For the series.
Yeah.
And speaking of dogfight, it's time to get into the MMA a little bit.
Yes, UFC 264, McGregor versus Poirier. Now, look, me and you have conflicting views on this fight. I know a done fighter when I see one, and I can just tell you this. McGregor hasn't beaten a real opponent since fucking 2016, okay? And if his name wasn't Connor McGregor, you would say he has no fucking chance against Poirier, especially after coming back after just getting knocked out so soon. He's going to get the shit kicked out of him. He's not winning.
Okay.
I just don't see it. I see Poirier.
You're right. If it was anyone else but Conor McGregor, I would probably agree with you. But here's the rub. It is fucking Conor McGregor. And let me tell you something. I don't like the narrative of just Poirier's going to walk through him like he's nothing. I don't agree. Because, listen, that fight when he got knocked out was his first real fight in almost 2-3 years. It really was. Because he fought Mayweather, then he fought Cerrone, which wasn't a real fight. You know, so that was his real fight in the ring. Now, he looked pretty good in the first round. He got his leg kicked, you know, basically to where he couldn't stand on it, and then he got knocked out. Do you really think he's just going to allow that to happen again? I don't, personally.
Listen, I don't know if he's going to allow that per se. I do think this. I think when you're a fighter and you're leading up and you have that hunger to be the best, that you had that hunger up until a certain point. I think McGregor has reached that point. He got knocked out. He lost to Khabib. He knows he's not the best. Now he's all in it for a check. Now, you're looking at a guy like Poirier, who Poirier was crafted in the octagon. This guy has been given nothing. All he's done was take punches, give punches, win, and he's gotten everything that he deserves. I mean, I can't go against Poirier in this fight. I just think he is, at this point in the game, at this point in their careers, at 33 years old each, I think Poirier is the much better fighter, a guy that has taken his lumps and has come back from even big fights. He's gotten hit, taken guys' best shots, and still won fights. I've never seen McGregor take somebody's best shot and win a fight. Have it.
That's a good point. Listen, look, McGregor is a front runner. When he gets up early or hits you hard early, he's a pretty good finisher. You're right, though. When he gets hit, you know, he hasn't shown to have the best chin in the world.
No.
That being said, though, this is a completely different McGregor than who came into the last fight. And I'm just talking about the way he's been with his demeanor. If you remember, before he fought Poirier the last fight, he was
very nice,
super nice and respectful. That's just not him.
Yeah.
He's not himself unless he's playing the dick, okay? Now, it might just be an act or whatever, but I like what I see out of him. And
you like what you see.
I do.
When I saw him flapping at the mouth in that press conference, I saw a weak man. I saw somebody that was just talking. I really did. You know, Poirier's sitting there like, you know, I know what I'm going to do. Listen, Poirier's just trying to do better than he did last fight. He gets better with every fight. He's not trying to be something he's not. McGregor right now thinks he's hungry. He's not that hungry.
Here's the thing with McGregor, though. McGregor's ego is so big. You really think he wants to get knocked out again? Absolutely not. If you don't think he's coming into this in as good a shape as he could be and as prepared as humanly possible, I think you're wrong. Look,
he looks like he's in great shape.
Look, these fighters that have all this money, okay, yeah, sometimes, like Marvin Hagler used to say, it's hard to get up at 5 a.m. and run when you're sleeping in silk pajamas. I get it. But McGregor, I feel like, is refocused on the fight itself. He's not taking it as stupidly as he was. I don't see the same, like, clown show of him. Like, I just know Poirier gets hit a lot. And I think it's a lock that McGregor can't knock him out.
No, listen, like you said this to me earlier in the week too, where you think that if McGregor's going to win, he's going to have to do it early because he has no gas tank. Between the first 1.5 to 2 rounds, he's going to have to win.
Say that, look, he did go 5 rounds with Nate Diaz. I think as long as, look, McGregor.
You're forgetting that Poirier can take him to the ground too.
Look, there's a couple things. Exactly. One, he's got to stay on his feet. 2, he's got to not let his lead leg get kicked out like that, because if that happens.
No, I know. Listen, for any fighter, I mean, we say it all the time. If you're an MMA fighter, listen, if you're an MMA fighter and you're watching this, please kick the leg, because I don't see how guys don't just kick the calf. Well, that is the best jab you can have. If a guy can't stand anymore, he can't hit you. I mean, we see it all the time. Kick
Very
the
true.
leg. You know.
Right. And listen, that would be my strategy, but you got to think Connor's going to be ready for that. And I wouldn't underestimate him too much. The guy, look, he hasn't been hungry in a while. He's won one fight in the last 5 years. It's very possible that he's done completely.
Yeah.
I just don't like the narrative around the fight like Poirier is just going to walk through him like it's nothing.
Well, I don't think that. I think there's a lot of people who think McGregor's going to win, especially getting him at, like, odds.
Not as many as you think, though. I think the majority of the money is on Poirier. And anyone that I watch or see talk about this are just like, oh, McGregor's finished. And it's dangerous to say the guy's finished, even though he might be.
Look, I've been watching fighting.
Here's what I think.
I've seen a lot of fighters, and I'm just saying he appears to be finished.
Well, he has.
I didn't like to look on his face.
This is what I'm telling you right now, and I'm pretty sure of this. You're going to get the best version of him that's possible.
Early.
It's going to be enough. Is he as hungry as he used to be? No, I'm talking about right now on this date. You're going to get the best version of him that you can, and we're going to see if he can.
You know what else? You know what else I find very interesting about the Poirier side? Now, before they fought last fight, he came into that fight with like this like aura of Conor McGregor, like this is Conor McGregor. I've never gotten to him. Now that he's gotten to him and actually knocked him out and was like the aggressor and like really took the fight to him. I mean, he beat the shit out of him. I mean, let's not pull any punches. Poirier kicked his ass in the second fight. Now that he's done that, even if Conor comes out like blazing in the first round and a half, do you think the confidence of Poirier, do you think that he's going to be able to just squash him like a bug now that he's done it?
I think that the way he beat him last time is one of the reasons why I think McGregor might win, because I think he could be a little overconfident. Let me tell you why. Look at boxing. When a guy has a long layoff, he doesn't come back and fight the champ right away or the best guy. They give him like a tune-up fight so he can get his the ring rust off and get back into it. Remember when he came out of jail? He didn't fight Lennox Lewis right away.
He fought Cerrone.
Before Peter McNeely. Cerrone is not a real fight. Listen to me. I'm talking about after that fight. I'm being serious. He didn't have a real fight, so he got knocked out. Listen, he hasn't been in the ring in a real fight in a long time. So he got embarrassed and knocked out, and I think if Poirier thinks it's going to be the same fight, I think he's mistaken. I really do.
Look, it won't be the same fight, but like think of it this way too. You just said that he just got knocked out and embarrassed. He's getting into the ring rather quickly after getting knocked out, and he's not exactly getting a tester fight. He's fighting the same guy that knocked him out, and the guy happens to be fucking awesome. Listen, it's not a good recipe. Like, he just got knocked out. Pretty good. And his leg's gotta be kind
but it was
of
an accumulation of punches. It wasn't, it was an accumulation of him getting kicked in the leg, and then he got
rocked.
Yeah, because he couldn't stand anymore. So
I know, but he got rocked.
No, he did. Look, I can't say that he didn't. Look, listen, all signs point to Poirier winning. I'm just personally not. I just don't think it's a lock. I just don't. I
don't think it's a lock either, but it's very hard for me not to throw $300 on that. Like, it just is. Like, I believe in Poirier. I just think he's tougher and been grinding at it for the last 12 years when Conor McGregor got rich, and he just doesn't really give a fuck anymore. And even if he thinks he cares right now, I don't think he really does compared to Poirier. Poirier's in there like, yo, this is the biggest fight of my life. I got to win this fight and close this chapter. And then I get a whole bunch of more opportunities.
The winner of this fight, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, the winner of this fight is not getting any favors because they're going to have to fight Charles Oliveira for the title, and they're going to lose.
Yeah, you think so?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Oliveira is very complete. I was very impressed the way he got rocked against Chandler, recovered, and then wound up rocking him and winning that fight. I mean, that was
great. He almost got knocked out. He's really tough. I think against McGregor, he will choke McGregor out.
Yeah, no, listen, he's way too skilled for McGregor in other areas. A guy like Poirier, though, you forget. Poirier's got a better ground game than you think. I think Poirier's got a better chance against him than McGregor. But I don't know, man. That guy's fucking good. I like him. He's got a very complete game. And he's good at the actual sport of MMA, which a lot of people come in, they're either really strong and they can overpower guys. he's not like that. He's good at the sport, and I really respect Oliveira.
No, he really is. He's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So
Now, we had a prelim that you had your eye on. Now, I can't say the guy's name. I know I'm going to butcher this, but Dricker Duplessis? Like that?
This is for our 5 fans out there, okay? We got like a solid 20, but his name's Drickus Duplessis.
Yes.
And he's fighting a guy whose name's Trevin Giles. It's basically an even money fight. Trevin Giles is a cop out of Houston that's now an MMA fighter. Now, he has a little more experience than Duplessis in the UFC. He's 3-1 in the UFC. Duplessis 1-0. I just, call me crazy, but a guy that's a cop in his day job, I'm not taking him against guys that are fighting for a living. If you look at both their body styles, you know, Duplessis looks better. He's 15-1 in the octagon. 14 of his fights have ended by knockout or submission.
Yeah.
So he finishes the fight. So does the guy Giles too. And you know, the more I've been thinking about it, that might be a better fight just to take, not to go the distance.
Yeah.
Because look, Duplessis really is not as well known as the other guy, yet he's a slight favorite. So I like him. I think he's going to win. I really do.
Listen, I tend to agree with you. When I watched the weigh-in and I saw Duplessis, he looked like a guy that was A, in shape, and B, he just looked like a real fighter. When you saw the guy Trevin, what was his last name? Jones?
Giles.
Trevin Giles. He just, he had like a BJ Penn body, and like I know it doesn't matter.
He's a good guy. He's got like a dad bod, though. You know.
Yeah, Duplessis looked like he was more of a fighter.
Yeah, well, he looks like a real fighter. The other guy looks like a cop. You know.
Yeah.
Old cop trying to throw his hand in the ring. You know, that's.
Yeah, look, I commend him for it because he looks like a no-nonsense guy, and he looks very tough. But
no, and he is, and he has knockout power, and he's very confident in himself. But I just like the guy Duplessis. I think if you're looking for a bet that's under the radar that nobody's really talking about, that for me, that's who I like. Yes. I like the guy who's named after one of Daenerys Targaryen's dragons, Drickus. Okay,
Drickus.
That's what I like.
I'm betting on the dragons here.
I'm betting on the dragons.
Now we also had another fight that we were looking at, Hall, and I can't say the guy's name. Was it Taparia? Yeah, how do you say it? I forget.
It's Ilya something. I forget. It's with me though, but he's actually really a tough fighter, and that's gonna be a great fight because nobody wants to fight Hall. He's one of the most duck fighters. The only thing that gives me a little pause when I think about that fight is the other guy is such a up-and-comer, and he's 24 years old, and Scott Hall at 36. You know, that's.
You know what that fight reminds me of? Reminds me of Gilbert Burns versus Maia, where I could totally see Taparia just knocking out Hall bad.
Yeah.
Or you could just see Hall wrapping him up and tapping him out. But yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, and I just think that it's a hard fight. But look, a lot of the fights in the card are very hard to bet. I personally, I don't have that. I don't have like the real confidence to be throwing like big money on any of these fights. To be honest,
I like Duplessis.
I like him.
I wasn't with it after doing my research, but after looking at them in the weigh-in and stuff, I gotta say the guy Duplessis. Just from the eye test, I mean, it does matter. It does matter. It doesn't always mean everything, but it matters. And if I was going to pick a guy to win, I've been looking at fighters for a long time in boxing and MMA. I would pick Duplessis. He looked like a real-time fighter. The guy was cut up. He was ripped. Looked like he had a good camp. I mean, I was
fighting for a spot because when
he didn't look emaciated at the weigh-in. He looked
he looked strong. And when you have guys of like this level of fighter, it's so like do or die. Like you have to win or you're not going to be on the card anymore.
And he's got to beat a guy like Trevin Giles.
Yeah, well, Giles has been trending up. He's won 3 fights in a row. He's good.
I know.
You know, I don't know what these guys are thinking though. You know, they're heavyweights. They just want to fight so they can maybe one day eventually get knocked out by Ngannou. So I don't know, man. there's a
That
lot.
is the
There's a lot of
scariest man
jobs
on earth.
I would do for anything, but a heavyweight fighter in the UFC, you have to be on some serious drugs to be wanting to get in the ring with Ngannou.
Yeah,
The
no,
real
look. I mean,
scariest alive.
they're talking about Bones Jones getting in the ring with Ngannou.
The only thing
I think that's
scarier
a
than
major
Ngannou,
mistake.
the only thing scarier than Ngannou might be in like the early 2000s, rolling down Autumn Drive, or in Gordon Heights. So that might be the only thing scarier than Ngannou. You know, when you had the white gangsters rolling through town. That's the only thing that would have made me more afraid. But
Let me
that's
say
it.
something. Ngannou, I would never want to fight a guy like that. That guy shuts people off, and then he gives them, after he knocks him out, he always gives them that one last like hammer punch on the ground.
I know.
Where I mean, he is just too big and strong. Like,
He's vicious, man.
so they're talking about him and Bones Jones fighting. Bones Jones should retire. Okay, that's
I'd
a
fight him
dumb
if I
fight.
was John Jones. If you're gonna give me like 30 million, otherwise go fuck yourself. Okay,
30 million, or I don't even know. That's a legacy tarnisher. He's not gonna beat him.
You could knock me out for a lot less than 30 million. Okay? I'm telling you right now, I'm willing to go down with the ship. Okay, come on, start sending me some offers. Anybody that's out there. I'll start at like 10 grand, and
Until you're 55 and you're like
wait.
Muhammad Ali with the Parkinson's because you got your shit pushed in when you were fucking 35. Look, I wouldn't want to get hit by that guy. Okay.
No, I don't think anybody would.
Remember the Overeem punch? How bad that was. I mean,
yeah,
that was
scary, man. I don't know how some of these guys. I don't know how you can ever fight again after getting hit like that. You probably feel it though. You're probably out like a light. And you hit the ground, you wake up like 5 minutes later, like, what the hell happened?
Yeah. He probably felt nothing. It probably tickled, let me tell you.
Listen, when I was younger, I got sucker punched like that one time.
Yeah.
At the club, right? And I got knocked to the floor, blood pouring out of my face, and I swear to God, I did not feel it when I got hit.
Yeah, you felt it when you got home. I remember.
I felt it like the next day when I had like a golf ball under my eye. But
yeah.
But the day that it happened, it was almost like I likened it to like, like when you hit like a baseball solid right off the sweet spot. You don't feel nothing in your hands. That's like how this felt. I got hit like a tuning fork. I was like, ding, and that's like how Ngannou does that to people, and he just shuts people off, and that's like you said, that's how.
There's times that he doesn't, like, he hit Orlovsky with a punch that it wasn't even his best punch. He like grazed him, and the guy just was like
look, as soon as he hits you, you're done. So I don't know how you can avoid punches. The only possible way you could beat him is if you could take him down and submit him, but he's so strong you can't even hold him down.
You're gonna laugh because I know you don't think this guy is good. I just know it already. When I say his name,
I'm sure it's something stupid you're gonna say, but go ahead.
A guy that I think has a chance against Ngannou because I think he's just smarter is I like Cyril Gane. Like everyone, Cyril Gane. It's spelled Gain. That guy is. I'm telling you, that guy is smart. Can wrestle. He can actually move.
Yeah. He's smarter, right? Let me tell you something. That guy, look, he would get knocked out in 30 seconds. He would shoot you that, boom, and that would be that.
Maybe,
out, guy.
Maybe,
no way.
Maybe. I want to. That's a fight that I really want to see. I hope they get to that point because
who's got a chance to get him Cyril Gane if he's allowed to bring in a sledgehammer into the ring.
Even then, I don't know, man. Ngannou, the way he knocked out Rosenstruck when he just ran across the ring and like pummeled him, like he was a little boy.
He's training with Usman now, so he's a lot more disciplined and he's got a much better.
Cardio, probably.
And he's just basically the scariest man alive. That's really what it is.
Yeah, no. Since he has Usman with him, he's been very focused. I wouldn't want
the scariest man alive besides the guys that live in Coram. Other than that, I'm telling you.
We got Angelo saying about Jake Paul fighting Tyron Woodley. Once again, these Paul brothers won't fight an actual boxer. Now he's fighting an MMA guy that doesn't throw punches in MMA. I mean, he's like afraid to actually release. What is with this? Are we
what is
buying
with this? They're absolute geniuses that are just making money hand over fist, okay? You can't even hate on him.
He's
I mean,
gonna fight Miss Doubtfire next. Like, what the
they're
fuck?
making a ton of money though, and they're getting it. I think Woodley has a chance, sort of, but because he's fighting a guy that's not an actual boxer. So
He's not a boxer.
I know,
He's not a boxer.
I
As a
know.
matter of fact, he's a washed-up MMA fighter that's like afraid to throw punches.
Listen, if Jake Paul fights Ngannou, I'll pay any amount of money. I don't care what you
Do
want.
a boxing match with Ngannou.
Do a boxing match with Ngannou. You can get $200 out of everybody to watch.
Not even Ngannou. Just fight someone like relevant. Like fight James Toney. Lord knows James Toney would do it at the drop of a hand.
Fight Evander Holyfield. He's ready to fight.
Oh my God, Evander Holyfield is 60. I saw him training the other day in a video. He looks like he would absolutely beat anyone's ass. Like I'm serious. He looks like he's about 40 years old.
I know.
He looks pretty damn good.
He's another guy. He's just a maniac with a cinder block for a head.
Evander Holyfield was my favorite fighter of all time.
You can't hurt him.
Evander was the best. I'll never forget when he hit Mike Tyson and turned him stupid. I'll never forget that punch in the first fight. That was just incredible.
No,
but anywho, back to the UFC.
So, yeah.
What do you?
Basically, I'd like to see Greg Hardy lose. I'm not a fan of his either. I'd love to see him just get.
You see the guy he's fighting with those like hip tribal tattoos?
I don't even know who he is. I'm sure
the guy looks like a fat fuck. I don't know. Look, don't get me wrong. Hardy's nothing special, but if Hardy won this fight, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, listen, I'm sure they want him to win. He's the actual name, but I'm just saying I would just like to see his lights get turned off. The guy got thrown out of football for like beating his wife. Oh yeah, you're real.
I know he threw on a bed of guns. Like,
come
shit,
on,
he's a real fucking asshole.
You're a loser, Greg. You're a loser.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that to his face.
He needs to get knocked the fuck out. Okay, I'm praying that it happens.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if it's gonna though. I wouldn't go ahead and bet that. A guy that I liked was. There was another fight. I forget who he's fighting. I forget the guy's name, but Conduit was fighting somebody. And after I saw the weigh-in, I liked the other guy.
How old is he? Guys that are older than me, I don't think they should be still fighting in the UFC.
I know.
Call me crazy.
I know.
I don't know. I mean,
look, I like the other guy.
He's a great fighter, Carlos Condit. I don't know who he's fighting either. I didn't really give it that much of a look.
I forget the guy's name off the top of my head, but. Look, I really only like 2 fights on the card, to be totally honest. I mean, we actually haven't gotten into this fight, but what do you think about Gilbert Burns versus Wonder Boy? Now, that's a fight where that's a clash of styles. Where
look,
if Gilbert gets into the ground, he's going to kick his ass.
Gun to my head, I would take Gilbert Burns, but it's so close to call. You can't even make a call. Look, Wonder Boy is great when he does what he does, but a lot of times he's another one that doesn't really throw the
No, but he's got an excellent takedown defense. And I think Gilbert Burns' path to victory is taking him down.
It is.
Where if he can't, I think it could be a very long night for Gilbert Burns. Like that's a very
well, Wonder Boy's got to keep him at distance and use his feet, and kick
Look,
him.
The only guy to ever bring Wonder Boy to the ground was Woodley, really. Other than that, Pettis knocked him out on that miracle knockout. But other than that, I mean, he was dominating that fight too.
Yeah, no, look, it's an interesting fight. Again, this card is very tough to bet. If anybody's out there looking for advice, I wouldn't go too crazy with this card because the fights are really, really like the definition of pick'ems. Most of them, it's very up in the air. I could see all the fights pretty much going either way. It's tough.
You see Jessica I is fighting, and
it's the first time she's made weight in like 10 fights.
Let me tell you something. I hate Jessica I, okay? Her face and just the way she is, she sucks. She's fighting that girl Maya. If Maya is good at all, she beats Jessica I. Jessica I sucks. Okay?
Jessica Evil Eye.
Yeah, hot take. Hot take.
Hot take. Sucks. It's going to be turned into Jessica Black Eye after
this.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. If I was gonna pick, a girl fight, I would take the girl Maya to beat her. But
I agree totally. I don't think Jessica I is good.
She's not. She's not.
First time she made weight.
I don't like betting girl fights. I really don't.
Yeah, it depends. It depends who it is. If you know them, rule of thumb for anyone out there: if you're gonna bet a girl fight, the girl, whoever you think is better looking, bet against them because these pretty girls, they usually
It's all in the
and that
trap.
sounds, listen,
Okay,
look,
it's all in the traps. You gotta look at the girls in the biggest traps.
I'm not sexist at all. But one time we bet a girl and she came out. I just bet it off what somebody told me, and I took one look at her picture, and I was like, "Oh my god, she's gonna get her fucking ass kicked." Like I probably should have done my research. And another time we bet a girl that looked like she was doing heroin before the fight. So I think with girl fights, you really gotta size them up.
I know. She looked like she belonged at Two to Oaks.
Yeah, you really do because it's very hard to pick. And look, any girl, I give them credit for jumping in the ring, but there's a lot easier ways to make money than getting your face punched in. You know.
So I mean, to make a long story short, I mean, we really like the guy Duplessis. I mean Duplessis.
Yeah,
I know I'm not
Duplessis.
saying.
I like Duplessis. I like the under in that fight as both guys are finishers. So I like that. If you're gonna bet the Conor McGregor fight, a little bit of money. If you think Poirier is going to win, Poirier, I read an article that he really thinks he's going to submit him.
He could.
So I like if you're going to bet that fight, I wouldn't take Poirier at minus money. I would throw a little bit on Poirier to win by submission and a little bit of McGregor to win by knockout because you can make money either way because they'll both be plus money. You won't make a lot, but that to me is a good way to bet the fight. If you're doing parlays, you put that in as your last leg of the parlay. You put both guys in like that.
Look, you're absolutely right about McGregor by knockout because his only path to victory is
knockout. I don't think he's going to.
He's not choking him out. He's not.
If he went distance with him, I will be shocked. That's another fight I bet the under. I don't know what the over/under is. I can't see it being much more than 3 rounds or 2.5 at max. Like I don't know what that is off the top of my head.
Look, that fight's going to be a fucking war. I know what you're saying. It's not. Poirier's not just going to walk over him. Okay.
If Poirier I do think too overconfident. Look, Poirier's got to come in like the first time where, I mean, you know, the last fight where he was like fighting for his life. If he comes in like, oh, I'm just going to walk through this guy, he's finished.
But that's not how Poirier is. Poirier only believes the only guy important is the guy, you know, across from him. He's not that type of guy.
But listen, it's human nature. Listen, I don't care who you are. It's human nature. You knock somebody out like that, you're like, I'm going to do it again. You think that. You're going to think that. Who's not going to think that?
Yeah, but he's also been knocked out by the guy. So there's also that. This is a very weird fight. Both guys have a KO against each other. Either guy is just bullish. Like, I think there's going to be more feeling out than you think because I think McGregor's going to want to see which way he wants to fight the fight. Because, you know, in a lot of rematches with McGregor, he's very keen at looking at what the other guy wants to do and not letting him do it. You know, a la Nate Diaz.
Yeah, no. Listen, McGregor, look, one thing about McGregor that is underrated is, first of all, the quality of the team he has around him, and he is a hard worker at his craft. Like,
he's in great shape.
He's in good shape. You know, his gas tank is in question, but they're going to come up with a good game plan. It's just a matter of can he execute it, and does he have the heart to beat Poirier? And that's like why you like Poirier, and I get why you like him.
Well, another reason why I like Poirier is because he took one of McGregor's best shots last fight.
Good.
And yes, it hurt him, but he took it and then took the fight to him. Where, like, there's something to be said for that, man. When you take a guy's best punch, I don't care what state of mind he was in at that time. You take his best punch and then you finish him. You gotta be. I just hope he's not overconfident, like you said, and like puts his chin out there a lot more. Because if he does, he could get knocked out and early.
What I could see happening is if Poirier's not measured with his striking early, if he gets a little too wild, sort of like, not that he's anywhere near this guy, but like Cody Garbrandt when he fights. If he gets into like a slugfest with McGregor where they start throwing bombs,
that goes well for McGregor.
He's got to just take his time. Listen, if Poirier take his time, I would attack the leg again, but I don't think it's going to be as easy this time.
It's not. And I was watching an interview with Poirier, and he was saying that, like, you know, every punch is so important because every move you make, it takes one mistake. I don't think he's going into the fight thinking that he's invincible. He actually acknowledged it. and said one mistake can be any one of our last in this fight.
Right.
So
Right.
I think he does respect Connor. I think he knows he got rocked last fight, and I think he knows he doesn't really want to do that again. I think he just wants to. I think he wants to take it to him early, but I don't think he's going to be able to. I picture Connor coming out guns a blazing in the first round and a half. And I think if he doesn't get the knockout, then I think as the fight goes on, it just bodes well for Poirier.
Oh, the later the fight goes, I think it definitely sways towards Poirier. But let's not
especially if you're a live better. You know, as a live better, where if it's even odds after 1.5 rounds and the fight's still going and Poirier's upright, I bet Poirier.
Like McGregor's never gone the distance before. Okay, he has.
No, he has.
It's not like he can't.
He has, but it depends what type of distance he's going. If Poirier takes him to the ground and wrestles him, that's a lot different than just punching the distance.
Look, the more Poirier can tire him out, the easier it should be for him to win. You know,
I think his path to victory is getting him to the ground somehow. You know, I don't know how he's going to do it.
But that's not really Poirier's game anymore. He wants to stand and bang.
He does. He likes to punch.
Style. Look, he's a good style for Conor McGregor. He's not one of these takedown guys, really. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to
the thing about Poirier is, rather than Conor, Poirier's been in some wars where he's came out on top. I mean, I haven't seen anyone beat the shit out of Max Holloway quite like he did. He also, he also knocked out Gaethje. He knocked out Conor. He beat Hooker. Like, the guy...
I might be underestimating him a little bit.
What?
I might be underestimating him a little bit.
I think everyone is because of who he's fighting. It's natural.
It's just, I just don't think it's a lock. I think, look, if I had to bet, if you were like, you got to make a bet on this, I would bet Poirier. But I'm just very hesitant. I just don't think I could see, there's a world where I see McGregor beating him.
Yeah, no, I know.
You know, listen, like a complete asshole in the ring after he wins.
Yo, you're not wrong, and I think if it does happen, it's going to happen in the first round and a half. Yeah, I just do. I could see him coming out and beating him up in like the first minute or two and like really getting him. But as soon as Poirier takes a shot, feels him, and then starts delivering his own, I think Conor's in trouble. I just do. I don't think he's going to stay away from the punches as well as people think. I just think he's going to get rocked as well. Poirier's not afraid to get hit to get his. And I think he could take more of Conor's punches than Conor
that's what we'll see. We'll see if he can take punches. And listen, we're going a little long right now, so just to summarize, we like Duplessis. If you're going to bet the Conor and Poirier fight, I would bet, it not to go the distance. I would take Conor by knockout, Poirier by submission. If you want to look for a spot to get a little bit of money. I would also probably bet against Max against Hall as
well. Personally, my two guys, I like Poirier to win, just flat out win. I think his numbers are plenty close to even odds to bet him straight up to win. And I also like Duplessis. I've came onto that ship. You've got me into that. At first, I didn't really agree. Then I saw them head up, and I gotta say, Duplessis looks like a guy that he looks like a real fighter. He just does. He looks like he's in great shape.
He's tough, man. I like what I saw and what I read. It struck me as a guy that I just think is going to win. And when I get feelings like that, I mean, not that I'm always right, nobody is, but I feel pretty confident on that fight. I really do. That one, for some reason, I feel good about it. I really think he's going to win. I think that guy is just a little bit better.
I tend to agree with you. Listen, whether Trevin Giles is tough or not, I still think there's levels to this shit, and I feel like Trevin Giles is a feel-good story that makes money with some fighting. But I think I just think that Duplessis is a real fighter. I could see him fighting for a belt one day. The guy looks like the real deal. He hasn't, he has a very good record. He just seems like at pretty close to even money. I like throwing a good two. My plan is this. I'm probably going to throw 250 on Duplessis. Hopefully I win that, and then I'll have a little bit of money to throw some money on Poirier.
Then you just bet it all on Poirier and call it a day. And if you win, you win.
I might bet it all on Poirier. I'm not sure.
That's probably the move, honestly, if that's what you want to do. That's probably the move.
It probably is. That's what I'm going to try to do. I might even just put Well,
the way to do it is, you bet on Poirier, and then you throw a little something on McGregor by KO just in case. And as far as game 3 goes, for the basketball, we're taking Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Oh, wait, that's right. The Nets suck, Angelo. They couldn't even make it to the finals. They couldn't even make it. Sorry, buddy.
Did you
I thought
see?
Kyrie would probably go for 35, but he's at home.
Did you see James Harden leaving Lil Baby's house?
Oh my God!
That video.
Listen, listen, because we gotta go now because I doubt anybody's still watching this. Well, at least Angelo is. James Harden came out looking like I don't know what the hell he looked like. He looked like he was like the King of Sheba or something.